This is our annual spirit naming ceremony where the children are all going to be bringing home their spirit fairies that they have been making for the past several weeks. We've been collecting sticks in the woods. They've been decorating them to represent something that they are passionate about, and it usually has to do with the earth or something having to do with nature or the planet. And they all have a name and a purpose in life, and so tonight's the night that they're bringing them home to have them come to life in their homes. We start by collecting sticks in the woods. We look for the perfect stick that represents what their spirit fairy might become. And then when they get them back to the house, we wrap newspaper around their bodies. We then put a special clay on them. We then pick out a natural head. It could be a gourd or a grapevine wreath or something that I've collected over the years. And once they get their head on, then they get a heart. And once they get their heart on, that's when they can come to life or begin to come to life. And then they go through all the bins that I have that are many and massive, and they start picking out the clothes they want, picking out the fabrics. And once we get that process starting to get put onto the fairies, then they begin to think of a name for their fairy and what their fairy's purpose is, and then magically they are finished. And tonight is our night to be bringing them home. And because they do come to life once they are home, it becomes a relationship that they have with their fairy, and it can move around, and it can write notes to it and write letters to it, and it will be a part of their mantles and households or bedrooms for years to come. One of the other things that we're going to be doing is the gnomes who live out in my wetlands. They always ask the children to be very conscious of the earth and conscious of their community and themselves. And so the gnomes have asked the kids to make a rainbow walking stick this year. And so we have a special stick that they're going to be taking home. And they're going to be checking off things like good deeds that they do in 8 different categories. Some of it has to do with themselves, some has to do with their family, their community, the environment, something that might be working, maybe trying a new food, or helping out with cleaning up. And once they do a good deed, then the parents will check it off. And after they've completed 8 tasks in every given category, they get a little piece of yarn that wraps around their stick. And then once their stick is complete, they bring it in and we take it out to the gnome home, and then the gnomes will give them a present. And it usually has to do with nature. I think they totally believe that they come to life and once they are home, and I think that just seeing what all the other children are making and doing, we have lion protectors, we have bee protectors, rainbow makers, and we have a Mr. Earth this year. And because they all have to do with nature and just protecting nature, I think they start to really feel a passion for each other and what each other are making. And once that gets built into the community, then it becomes something that I think they can talk about at home with their families and friends, and it becomes something that, again, is a lifelong process of learning and growing and believing, and as long as they can anyway.